It is another day of someone airing out a private conversation online instead of talking to their partner, and so now everyone gets to dissect and give their opinion. Let's hear what he has to say.
Coming from a man who's trying to convince their wife to be a stay-at-home mom, I want her to quit working. We finally got to that point financially to where the money that she makes really does no good for her. I would much rather have her home to where she can help me make more money, making my meals, cleaning the house, handling all the grocery shopping. The kids are both of our jobs. I'm still bathing, cooking, doing school drop-offs and pickups, doctor's appointments, all those things for my kids. But I need my wife home to help make my life easier so I can make us more money. Now I fight and I do content. In the past, we've had to do the dual income thing because life be life and life is hard without two incomes in the household. But I don't like to drop how much I make, but I make enough to where she really doesn't have to work. Her working is honestly hindering me making more. And it's really not a stability issue. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and I fight. I make money on all those different areas. And I understand why she doesn't want to, because she was raised to always bring something to the table. That's how her parents raised her. She's a college accounting professor and an accountant herself. Her mother owns multiple businesses, and she's been working since she was like 16 years old. So I get not wanting to have to depend on a man, but you're not depending on me. We're in this together. You're just making, look, I'm paying you.
His video went viral and he came out with a second video to clarify things, but it sounded worse and even more inconsiderate than the first video.
As a woman, you would much rather clock into a 9 to 5, 8 to 6 that drains you mentally and physically than to make your man a sandwich. I made a video yesterday. It's doing numbers. I made a video talking about how I want my wife to become a stay-at-home mom. I'm trying to convince her to do it. I'm actually picking her up from work right now. I can't show you her job, but I'm here picking her up from work right now. I talked about how she's well accomplished, multiple degrees, been working almost 10 years at her job. I also talked about how I make enough money now to where her money is honestly detrimental to us making more money through me. Not being at home to help me cook and clean for me and the kid. A lot of the cleaning falls on me. Every man's goal, at least my goal as a man, has always been to retire my mother and my wife. I don't want the two women that take care of me the most, that have loved me the most, to have to work a day in their life anymore. And y'all hated me for that. And I think I know what it is. I think it's because I said what I want her to do for me. But y'all are forgetting I'm taking that mental load of having to worry about finances off her plate completely. We have a joint account. She has access and can use money how she pleases. We've even dabbled in the discussion, baby, just go part-time. Just go part-time. You don't have to completely quit. But I need reinforcements at home. I don't want to hire a maid. I don't want to hire a chef. I want a home-cooked meal for my wife. I love her cooking. From her mouth, exactly. Cleaning, it's mentally soothing for me. It's therapeutic for me. I didn't say this. She has. God forbid a woman actually wants to do something for her man and not feel like a slave. My wife had hobbies before she started working or having to work because we weren't making enough at the time. This is her opportunity to explore those hobbies so that she's seen as more than just a mother and a wife or a professor. But ultimately, I need y'all to hear me clearly. It is her choice. Her choice. I'm gonna keep sticking jabs like, hey, you're a little tired from work? You don't have to work. Making my meals, cleaning the house, handling all the grocery shopping. The kids are both of our jobs. I'm still bathing, but I need my wife home to help make my life easier so I can make us more.
So let me get this straight. You are a TikToking, YouTubing fighter. And you're not a famous fighter because I don't know who the f you are. I don't know who you are. So two very unstable career fields. You do content creation and fighting. One field that one day you can literally just not make any money. You can say the wrong thing, be canceled, and no one mess with you ever again. And you would bring no money from that realm into your household. Fighting, where you can get severely injured or worse and not make any more money. You want your wife who went to school for her profession, for her career, who is a professor and an accountant, to quit her job so she can do your meal preps. Because now her money is insignificant. It doesn't matter. But not that long ago, you needed her to go half-seas on the bills with you. But now that you make more than her, you are counting her career as insignificant. So what happens, God forbid you get injured? What happens if your social media career dries up? Because it happens all the time. People do social media and sometimes it does not plan out. And that's why it is beneficial to have a backup job. Then are you going to say, babe, I'm going to need you to get your ass out there after you done begged her to come home? and quit her job? And at no point does he say what his wife wants. Clearly, she wants to work because he's saying that he has to convince her. And he's trying to make it seem as, well, it's because her parents instilled on her that she has to bring something to the table, blah, blah. Or maybe she wants to have a job. Maybe she recognizes that your career fields are very unstable. Because, you know, she seems like a smart girl. She realizes that your job is extremely volatile and unstable. There's no guarantee. So she's like, I'm going to stay in my field, stay ready in a position where she's constantly learning, constantly growing in the event something goes wrong with you. But no, you saying you need her home to help you, to propel you, push you forward in your unstable field. You want her home to wash your clothes, clean the house, cook your meals to help you get better. Her having a career is hindering you. Her having a career is hindering you. Why not get a chef? Since you make so much money. You make so much money. How about hire a chef? A meal prep service. There's 1,000,001 meal prep services, and you do content. So wouldn't it be nice? Hell, Factor, reach out to him. Get him a deal for meal preps. Since you want your wife to quit her job.
That have loved me the most to have to work a day in their life anymore. And y'all hated me for that.
Oh, honey, you missed the mark on this one. You seem like a really good man with good intentions, but there is a lot of internal misogyny that you're not realizing. You can see it so clearly in the way you worded that. I want her to be a stay-at-home mom so that she doesn't have to work. I want her to be retired. I don't want her to work a day in her life. Domestic labor is labor. Being a stay-at-home mom is a job. A hard one at that. One with no days off, nights, weekends, bodily fluids. Like, no respect. The pay is literally shit. And rude bosses that, don't know how to tell time yet. My sister was a mechanical engineer. Now she's a stay-at-home mom of 2. She's like, this is the hardest job I have ever worked. Now she loves it because it's important work to her. It's something that she cares about more than anything in the world. But it is work. It's a labor of love, but it's labor. It's not misogynistic to be or want a stay-at-home partner. But when you don't value the labor that women have traditionally done for generations as labor, that's the problem. When I say pressure to provide, you probably think about men. But women have had a pressure to provide since the beginning of time and pretty much no recognition for it. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I think it's the most important work in the world. My mom was a stay-at-home mother of 4, and my dad provided all of the money. But you would never hear my dad say that Maureen doesn't work. He would say she works harder than me, and he worked a 12-hour shift at a factory job. My dad also saw that if he didn't do any domestic labor, this would not be an equal division of labor. So he actually did most of the cooking and grocery shopping too. You think you're giving her the gift of getting to stay home, but really you're asking a big ask. You're asking her to sacrifice her career, her earning potential for the rest of her life, and so many other things. And depending on how many kids you have and how old they are, you're also asking her to do a really hard job. You're making a mistake that a lot of people, especially women, make. And that is thinking that staying home can be feminist as long as it's a choice. But the choice is really not the important part here. What makes it feminist or not is how respected it is. I don't know if it'll ever be respected in society, but it can at least be respected by the partner. Ask yourself if you would respect a man who was a stay-at-home partner while his wife went away and worked. If the answer is no, then you've got some unlearning and learning to do, my friend. What's infuriating is you are so close to the point. You say that you really want a stay-at-home partner. You say that it will make your life easier, your children's life better, and increase your earning potential over time. Yet you still don't see it as valuable labor. You can structure your marriage in any way, down totally traditional gendered lines or not. You can want a stay-at-home wife, but until you have a major paradigm shift, this will not be a feminist take.
Coming from a man who's trying to convince their wife to be a stay-at-home mom, I want her to quit working. We finally got to that point financially to where the money that she makes really does no good.
I feel like you guys are choosing to not want to understand what he's saying. You guys do so many things outside of marriage that you actually don't know what goes on inside of one. He said he made to a point financially where her money doesn't really do anything good for the family. Let's just say he's making $5 million a year and she's making $100K a year. Her $100K doesn't do anything to help support his income already being at $5 million. Now he's saying if his wife took up more of the responsibilities of cooking and dealing with the children, he could go double his money to maybe like $10 million a year. So what is the $100K to her $10 million? When you get into a marriage, it's not about you anymore. You do what's best for the family. Even if that means you have to leave your 6-figure job for the other person to go double or triple the money for the family, you will do that. 90% of y'all will leave your 6-figure jobs right now if your husband had the opportunity to go make $5 million a year. In 3 years of that, y'all could retire with $15 million, $10 million, $20 million. Y'all could retire with generational money. Because y'all kept saying he does fighting and content creating. 2 jobs that's not very stable. But the thing is, he goes on a strong 3-year run, $10, $15 million a year. That will be more money than what she can touch making $100K. And if you disagree to what he's trying to say, then you are the person that should not be getting married if you're not going to make sacrifices like that. Because what are you still working for if your husband's making $10 million, but you want to be like, oh, I need just to keep working. I want to make my $100K. It took me 10 years to get my degrees. Now you're just being selfish and doing shit for yourself. And within a marriage, if he goes out and cheats with all that money, guess what? You're getting half of that shit.
She's a college accounting professor and an accountant herself.
Here's my take on dude who's trying to get his wife to leave her accounting job as a professor in order to be a stay-at-home mom, make him a sandwich or whatever that is he's wanting her to do. First of all, retiring me is not cooking and cleaning, okay? It's not putting me in a position to be a second-class citizen in my own home because you want to see me physically cooking, cleaning, scrubbing toilets, scrubbing the floors. Like, that's not retirement, baby. That's not what we dream of when we think of I'm going to retire. So if you as a man are making more money, so much so that you are saying you want to retire your woman, then you need to hire a nanny, a housekeeper, a cleaner, those types of things that make both of your lives easier. Second of all, when people say things like, you know, your woman would rather be out, you know, clocking in and clocking out for a man versus being at home taking care of their kids or whatever, what you don't understand is when your man is doing his job as a man and he has everything covered and you actually have a choice to make when you could go to work or you can stay home or you can take off or you can do whatever, what they don't understand is I don't have a boss at that point, okay? I'm the boss. Because when work gets crazy and they start talking crazy to me and they start requiring things that require me to be away from my kids more than I want to be and stuff like that, I can say, you know what? I don't have to deal with this because my man got it. Not me though, because I don't have that issue because I'm the boss. I own my own shit. I haven't worked for anybody else in over 12 years now. All right. So I don't have that issue. But for those of you who have a 9-to-5, if your man is doing what he's supposed to do at home, he's totally covered you, he's offering you provision, you're the boss, okay? Because you get to decide ultimately. And that's what it's all about. People think that feminism was, you know, our right to work. We fought for our right to go out here and work. No, we fought to be able to get paid for our labor, okay? Because cooking, cleaning, raising kids, doing all that type of thing, that is free labor. That's stuff that we don't get paid for. And saying that we are cooking and cleaning and we're doing those things, taking care of our kids for a roof over our head, okay, baby, that's not retirement. That is indentured servitude.
As a woman, you would much rather clock into a 9-to-5 that drains you mentally and physically than to make your man a sandwich. I make enough money now to where her money is honestly detrimental to us making more money through me. Not being at home to help me cook and clean for me and the kid. And I'm taking that mental load of having to worry about finances off her plate completely. We don't want to hire a maid. I don't want to hire a chef.
Maybe part of the reason why she doesn't want to become a stay-at-home mom is because the way you speak about it is very reductive. Do you have any idea how much mental load goes into running a household? You've only gotten a glimpse of it. When you describe what you're doing, you said that you need some help, you need some reinforcements, but yet you want her to take on all that responsibility by herself. You married a career-driven, multi-degree professional, and you're trying to turn her into a housewife. This is why it's so important for you to have these kind of conversations prior to getting married. Ask that man, if I were to have children, what do you expect my life to look like? If he's talking about, oh, I'm expecting you to quit your job, and I'm expecting you to, do all the cooking, do all the cleaning, find those things out in the beginning. You don't want to wait till after you've had the man's babies for him to expect you to give everything up that you built prior to him and the kids. I'm sure he's well-meaning, but he has no idea what he's really asking her to give up. Give up your identity. Give up your autonomy. When you talked about her career and her education, you talked about it with respect. But when you talk about being a stay-at-home mom, you reduce it down to a ham sandwich. Being a mom is one of the hardest jobs in the world, but that's not the way you talk about it. And you wonder why she doesn't want to do it.
The funniest thing about this is everything he listed is work. Doing your grocery shopping, they hire people for that. Cleaning, cooking, those are actual jobs. That is work. And we as women have a role to play in this too, because the way we talk about domestic work, we couch it as something that is not work. A lot of women talk about how their degrees are just for show and they just want to be housewives because they don't want to work. They don't want to work. He just told y'all. So when he's saying, oh yeah, you don't have to work, they don't look at that as work, because neither do women. Until a divorce happens and then it's, yeah, I was doing all this work, but I thought it was not work. In one of the videos, he goes on to talk about how the majority of the cleaning falls on him. So he sees him cleaning and doing all those things as work. But when it's her doing it, oh no, baby, I'm retiring you. You don't have to work no more. No, you are hiring her. You're trying to get her to quit one job so you can hire her for another job, one that could potentially be much harder than the current job that she is working. Homemaking is a job and a skill. We just saw Meghan Markle, or Meghan Sussex, right? That is work. That is labor. And if you're not one of those people who it comes easily to, if you're not one of those women, I promise you clocking in is much easier. If you're not somebody who, it requires a lot of routine structure, you have to, if you're not built like that, that is work. Even if you are built like that, it is work, but it would be more enjoyable work. Women uphold patriarchy. We are one of the main reasons why men feel comfortable saying stuff like this. There's so many videos on TikTok, Instagram, all over social media of women talking about how they would much rather cook, clean, do all these things because it is not work than do actual work. So when men tell you, hey, quit your job so that you don't have to work and you have to just make me a sandwich, cook, clean, do the grocery shopping, and you're like, that's work? We can't have it both ways. Either it's work or it's not.
Than to make your man a sandwich.
Excuse me? You trying to convince your wife to be a stay-at-home mom, you're not doing it for any of the right reasons. Because the more I listen to you talk, the more selfish you actually sound.
It finally got to that point financially to where the money that she makes really does no good for her. I would much rather have her home to where she can help me make more money, making my meals, cleaning the house, handling all the grocery shopping. The kids are both of our jobs. I'm still bathing, cooking, doing school drop-offs and pickups, doctor's appointments, all those things for my kids. But I need my wife home to help make my life easier so I can make us more money.
Literally everything you're naming off is things that is going to make your life easier. Your life. Your life. It's a lot of me. What about what's going to make your wife's life easier? And then he mentions, because people are saying about the whole job thing, oh, we have a joint bank account. She has access to all the money. She has access to the money that you are going to be making. She's not going to have her own money. What if she likes having her own money? What if she likes making her own money? What if that helps with her identity? Because a lot of moms, after they have a kid, they start losing their identity and they become, their whole identity becomes being a mom. Especially with stay-at-home moms. They don't know what an identity is anymore because they're always with their kids.
Imagine being a college professor and an accountant and having your husband come online and saying that he wants you to be a stay-at-home mom because you are hindering him from being more successful in his career because he needs you at home taking care of home duties. Like, and to make matters worse, he said that the money you bring in is irrelevant because he makes enough money on all of his streaming platforms that, like, you don't necessarily have to work. But could you imagine the schooling and effort that went in to be a college professor and an accountant? I know that's not easy work. I work in finance. I know for a fact that is not easy work. And for your husband to come online, and he even made comments like, I need her at home making me a sandwich. Baby, no.
I think it's so funny that at the end of the video, he's like, we're in this together. But the entire video was about what he wanted, what he prefers. Him. his wife got to make all these sacrifices, but it's what he wants. And it's just like, this isn't what the we fought for in the 60s. Like, why? What the is happening that we are somehow going backwards? Then he talked about, oh, you know, my wife was raised to always bring something to the table. She was raised to rely on herself. She was raised to ensure that a man can never hold money over her head, because yeah, it's giving those vibes. Y'all refuse to see women. Like, y'all swear y'all love women. Oh, I'm trying to convince her to be a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home wife, this, that, and the third. But it's not like you're guaranteeing her actual luxury and leisure. You want her to cook and clean. You're talking about how you make enough money for this, that, and the third, and how you would quote unquote be paying her, which we all know is bull. If that was the case, hire a chef, hire a nanny, hire a maid. But you want her to cater to you. You can't fathom her making her own money. And like he said, you know, before we had to do the whole dual income because the economy. I get that 100%, 100%. But the problem is y'all kind of have a history of wanting women to rely on you and kind of constantly not only holding that over their head, but fuck them over too. Like, what if she gets insurance with her job? You know, like I'm sure there's so much to it that is like kind of being overlooked or whatever. And it's just like, the most important one is she clearly doesn't want to, yet you're trying to convince her of this.
We are going to talk about this. I grew up with a mother that was a stay-at-home mother. I have a sister that has been a stay-at-home mother for like 18 years. A majority of the women in my family have been stay-at-home mothers. If you want to marry a woman who wants to stay home, there are plenty of women who want to stay home. And you say, oh, Tara, she might want to stay home. The women that want to stay home, as soon as their husband makes enough money and he says, baby, I think you can go working, those women are like, I'm not putting in my notice. I don't care if you won't rehire me. I'm done today. Take the get the my dream is starting today. Those are the women that want to stay home. And I love that for them. But here's the thing. Those women have expressed to their husbands probably since they were dating. Most people I know anyways. From the get, they were saying, my goal is to not work. And usually they say, I want to be a mother. I want to stay home with my children. I want to provide for my family from the home. All wonderful and lovely things. But it wasn't a surprise. They knew, he knew, their moms knew, their cousins knew, their friends knew, everyone knew she wanted to stay home. But those girls are the girls that the red pills bitch out about how they don't bring anything to the table but their ability to have a baby, but they demand a man that can make enough money to care for them. And so you don't marry those girls. No, you go and find the girl who says, I want to do this career. And you say, oh yeah, I want to marry that girl. And then the whole time that she's earning money while you also earn money and you're both contributing to the household, she's not providing for you. She's not taking care of you, even though she's paying a good percentage of your bill. She's just working. But suddenly, when you start making enough money that you feel like a big baller and you say, I want you to stay home. She has never mentioned that she wants to stay home, but you say, I want you to stay home and you're hindering me from making money. And it doesn't make any sense for you to be working. It doesn't have to make sense. It's what she wanted. She doesn't want to stay home. When your wife wants to stay home and you say, baby, I got you. You can clock out and never clock back in. You don't have to tell them twice. If you have to tell your wife multiple times, this doesn't make financial sense. You're hindering me from making as much money as I can make. Your wife doesn't want to stay home. And you married a woman who didn't want to stay home. And then you get on social media talking about how I want my wife to stay home, thinking it makes you look like you're a good husband. It just tells the world you're not a good husband. Because in the entire TikTok, not one time did he mention, well, my wife wants. My wife wants to XYZ. Didn't hear it. The entire TikTok is, I want my wife to stay home. I want her to cook my meals. I want her to clean the house. I want her to this. It's hindering me from making more money because she isn't staying at home. My husband is a stay-at-home father. And this is a conversation that we have. It is not common in relationships where the woman stays home, where the conversation is, babe, what are you wanting? What do you want to do? Instead, the conversation directed to women is typically, this is what is best for our family. You need to do this thing because I can do this thing, which allows me to do X, Y, Z, but you need to do this. When my husband and I talk about this, it is like, okay, hey, it makes sense for you to stay home. So he stays home. And actually, like end of last year, he was like, I think I'm kind of getting tired of being in the house. I think I would like to find something to do for work. And I said, okay, great. We can do that. So I adjusted my schedule and he got a job somewhere where he had a set schedule. And he worked for a little while, and that was working, and that was great. And we rotated the kids between us because I worked nights and he was on days, and it was working fine. And financially, it didn't like dramatically change things, but it also like didn't hurt us. But he enjoyed working. He was enjoying doing something besides being with the kids. And then eventually it got to a point that he was not enjoying being there anymore with some stuff that was going on. And so we had a conversation, and I said, if you don't want to do this anymore, you don't have to do it anymore. If it would make your day-to-day better to be done, then we can be done. And I will go back to doing it full time, and you can keep the kids. I'm cool with that. And that's what we did. And then we ended up having another conversation where he said, how do you feel about me going back to work? Do you want me to go back to work, or do you want me to stay home? And I said, babe, if you want to go back to work, you can go back to work. If you don't want to go back to work, you don't have to go back to work right now. It is truly easier on me, gives me more freedom and flexibility, and allows for me to plan further ahead for him not to work. Coordinating 2 kids and 2 schedules can be very difficult. There is a lot of freedom in my husband not working. And he said, you know what, actually for the time being, I think I'll just not. We're in between buying a new place, we're going to be moving, etc., etc. He's like, I think that I'll just stay with the boys, we'll get that all done, and then we can revisit. And I will never understand how women cannot just get the same respect. How women in marriages, it is always, this is what you need to do for the family. And I understand that some people are like lower class. So sometimes like you just don't have options, and I understand that. But even if you start out not having options, and then now you have options, which is what you're saying, your wife's desire for her life should be a factor.
You 50-50 when taking care of the kids, but you want her to be 100% in taking care of you, which then will add you into how she's taking care of the children. So essentially, she'll be taking care of everybody. And she's supposed to give up her job and trade that in. Because you can't clean up the house. You can't cook. You can't do any of that. But you can't get the kids up and take them to school. But again, ladies, again, what are you telling me in the comments? You rather have this than to be a baby mama, right? You rather have this. You rather have this, right? This is what you want, right? Okay.
Working almost 10 years at her job.
And everything he's putting in his videos, I feel like maybe it's rage bait, but it's a complete red flag to me, because this is a situation where he's trying to basically triangulate by using social media and himself to force her into being a stay-at-home mom. It's not something that she wants. And he's like forgetting that maybe her job is fulfilling to her. Maybe she just wants to keep the job because, I don't know, she did a school and she's 10 years in. She's 10 years in as a professor. Like that's, I'm like sitting here like, are you serious? He says he's a social media person and a fighter. Those things are literally not the same as a tenured professor. Any one of those, you can literally kiss goodbye at any moment. He could get canceled, or he could literally get really hurt as a fighter and his career's done. And then what are they going to do? He also just goes on to say that he doesn't want to get a chef or a maid because, 1, he likes his wife's cooking. 2, he said his wife likes to clean and she thinks it's therapeutic to her. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, because therapeutic is when she has the time she's going to clean, not at every fucking thing. And then the cooking part is like, that gets old. I cook almost every day for my family, and I'm telling you, I get tired of it. I love to cook. Like, I should do cooking content more, but I love to cook. That gets old. My mom cooked for our family for years, and she was a off and on stay-at-home mom, and my mom doesn't even like cooking anymore. She literally hates it now, and she used to love it. That's where I learned to cook. And one of the biggest red flags from his video, like this is a follow-up video to his original video, is that when he said that we have a joint account that we put our money in, and what's the difference when it's only my money, she's still gonna have access. And he hit it with a my money. He didn't say our money, he said my money. So he's already going in with the mindset that the money he's gonna be making, putting in that account is his. He doesn't have the mindset of that this is a partnership. It's literally him. He's a huge red flag. He is a huge red flag. And for him to like sit here and say you'd rather leave your job that you worked hard for, that you got all these degrees for, that you're 10 years in to sit at home and make your husband a sandwich, the misogyny dripping from this man. I'm sitting here like, yes, I would rather work. I'm sorry. I went to school to be out for my job. I worked really hard. I have a primarily work from home job. I worked really hard to get here. And yes, I would rather go to work than make my man a sandwich, because that is not who I am. That's not what I'm defined as. I'm not defined as a mom. I'm not defined as a wife. I am my own self. I'm a boss ass. I want to make my own money. I don't want no man telling me what I can and can't do, what I can and can't spend on. And I'm not going to have a man tell me that his money, it's his money. Like, I'm sitting here like, I usually like, with his videos, I agree with a lot of stuff, but this whole thing made me not like him. I'm about to block his here. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this follow-up video is even worse than the first video you made, because you're so misogynistic in this video. Like, I'm like, what is it? The CTE from the fighting? Like, did somebody kick you in your head one too many times? Like, oh, child. And I'm like, to his wife, I'm like, girl, your man is a whole red flag.
Besides that, I think that it's very interesting that men simultaneously think that it's no big deal for women to do everything at home, but also can't do it. And easy, why don't you get up off your ass and do it? Men like this are so poisonous, and they get on the internet and they promote these poisonous ideas because first and foremost, they get married so that they can have a servant. Even when he talks about retiring his mom and his wife, he doesn't want to retire his wife. Retiring his wife would be telling her, you don't have to work, and you don't have to clean the house, and I've got someone who's a nanny. You can relax. You can go on vacation whenever you want. That's not what he's offering. He said you can stop working out there, and you can spend every minute of your life working in here. That's what he's offering. That's not retirement. When you have children and a house to take care of, it's not retirement to stop working outside. It's a full-time 24-hour job. That's what he wants. And he says it would help him make more money if she would just take care of these things. So they take up time. So it's work. Because it's keeping you from doing the work you think would make you more money. You are a fighter and a content creator, and the kind of content creator that only men are interested in, because you're so corny and annoying. Honestly, it's very hard for me to watch his videos ever, and I thought I had him blocked because I find the way that he talks and his thoughts to be so incredibly repulsive. I wish that we didn't exist on the same planet. But great for them if they're in love, but he is talking about being abusive. Retiring someone against their will is abusive. Telling someone that they are no longer allowed to work and support their own self and further their own career, something that they've worked towards for a long time, because his wife is literally a professor. Jail.
I'm going to refrain from calling you toxic specifically, but the rhetoric that you're spewing out is extremely toxic. I was that girl. I was the one who had a successful career and who expected both me and my husband to work while, we equally shared responsibilities, because that's what you do, is you have an equal partnership with somebody that you love. And well, just like you are trying to do, he convinced me to stay at home, be that stay-at-home mom, and then he constantly threw it over my head. And personally, I would never want to be with a person who thinks that their accomplishments should be the only accomplishments that take precedent in the relationship. I think if you genuinely love your wife, you're going to respect the fact that she wants to have her own career, her own life, her own goals. Because to imply that a woman's only role is to stay at home is really like archaic at this point, and is honestly the number one reason I would never get married again, because I have my own dreams that surpass being a mom.
Obviously, this man is rage baiting, but ladies, I want y'all to listen to what he's saying and be very wary, because everything that he said in this video, this is a testament as to why men like to go for younger women, because they frontal lobe ain't developed. Yeah, now as older women, obviously we see right through everything he's saying, but a younger woman, she would take that as, oh, he loves me, that's my big strong man, he doesn't want me to work, he wants me to give up my career and just take care of him. And then what he's saying is, his wife got multiple degrees, so you want me to give up my multiple degrees, she's about to make tenure to come home and do unpaid labor, and then they'll try and spin it like this, like, yeah, I want to take care of you, I want to take care of you so you can take care of me, and they'll spin it like this, oh yeah, I got multiple degrees, but baby, don't nobody cook the way you cook, don't nobody clean the way you clean, honey, no one can take care of our kids the way that you take care of our kids, which is, okay, yeah, I'll give you that one, but the other two, no, you're full of it. And my thing is, how he's talking about her making money is detrimental to him making money. So my thing is this, my thing is, you're just intimidated by your wife because she has multiple degrees, and then on top of that, what she has a stable income, okay, because this, let's be real, boxers, they don't make as much money as you think they make, they fight twice a year. And then here's the thing, this man says he has multiple social medias, so rich people ain't as rich as we think they are, and yet you want your wife to quit her job and be solely dependent on you. No. And another thing, if you want to be a stay-at-home wife and a stay-at-home mom, you need to make sure you're getting something on your terms. Y'all need to be like Alexis Carrington from Dynasty, okay? Because before her and Blake left, Alexis, stay-at-home wife, stay-at-home mom, she had a staff that she managed, and she had a house manager. Okay, the house manager manages the staff, and he reports back to her. Okay, but as the wife, she hires all of these people. She hires the house manager. She hires the staff. She knows all of them. Okay, it's her. That's what the women do. Okay, so no. Oh, come stay at home. Come cook and clean, girl. If you gonna stay at home, you better have a staff that you're managing. Because I'm not about to be cooking and cleaning. No. Oh yeah, I got multiple degrees, but you want me to come stay at home and do unpaid labor while you're out there making a big name for yourself and making a big career for yourself, and then she'll just be your little wife, right?
I feel that any man that desperately wants you to give up your career goals or aspirations is either jealous of you or feels threatened by you in some kind of way. Although it is not my place to tell someone to leave a marriage or a relationship, I would definitely strongly advise against having another kid with him, because another child with him will be a trap. And the reason why he wants her to be a stay-at-home mom and quit her job is not about him being a provider. And I'm hearing some people say, well, he just wants a second mom, or, he just wants a maid at home. And I think it's a lot deeper than that. I honestly think it's about control. And I also think that he wants to humble her.
The content creator did exactly what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to make content that engages. We're all engaged. A man saying that he was like his wife, who is declarated with degrees, doing what she loves for what we assume, because nobody goes to school for that long and then works in what they're doing if they don't love it, for the most part. So he did what he was supposed to do. We're all talking about it. Now I'm here making a video. Other people have made videos. Let me just say this from a former stay-at-home mother. I do think it's beautiful that he's saying that he feels like he's at the point where he can do more, and he wants her to do less, at least outside of the home. The thought process of him saying, okay, she can then go do what she likes, but also, being more at home and doing the things that, of course, benefit him, is a thing. I think the part that he's missing, I think the part that everybody's kind of going off on him about, which is 1000% correct, is he's saying what he wants. I haven't heard what she wants. Now, he did say that she thinks that she finds cleaning soothing. So do I. I do too. But I also detest when I have done all those things in cleaning and you still have the kids, because I have 3 that will come in and my kids are old enough, 15, 13, 11. I think cleaning is soothing to me. I like doing it. I can get in the zone, put on my headphones. You see how people do the reset videos on Sunday and do that? I love doing that. I haven't made any videos yet, but I love doing that. The problem is that liking to clean as a source of getting your mind together versus something that becomes an everyday thing, it's two different things. I think he needs to understand that. Cleaning when it becomes your choice because you're in your mode of wanting to clean versus having to do it every day because now this is like the thing that you now do because you're the stay-at-home mom. And so the thought process is shifted to, yes, we might both do things, but it's still shifted to you. And now you're not out working because now you're in the house and now this becomes your job because being a stay-at-home mom, if you're doing it right, is a lot of work. I did it. I went to work right after my first kid. And still worked and still took care of all the mommy things. And then I was a stay-at-home mom after the last two. And I'm just going to tell you from a stay-at-home mom that it ain't all that it's cracked up to be. And most stay-at-home moms will tell you that. It doesn't matter how much you say you have access to the money. I had everything. There were so many. This was before Apple Pay. I used to have, at the time, my husband and I weren't even married. We were just engaged and we lived together. I would have his card. He wouldn't even have it. He would have to ask me for his card because I had access to whatever it is that I wanted to have. But there was always a drawback. And even the best of husbands and even the best of intentions can come with a drawback. I'm at a point where I can make my own money and do the things that I love, and I still can come home and do the things that I need to do. I can still be available for my children, but it's now me doing things that I love, making the money that I love, doing the things that I love that gives me the strength that when I go to pick up that sock for the 15th and one time, that it may not irritate me as much, right? So it's a beautiful thing to say, okay, we have reached to the point where we can do this. I feel like I can handle all the things and then I can let you, do the things that are in the house. But that's not a real, it's not as equal as it may sound. And I think he has good intentions. I would hope. I'm in my mind from looking at some of his other content. I really do believe that he has good intentions. So I'm not saying that he doesn't have good intentions. What I am simply saying is there's so much more to this that I think he's only seeing the part that he's seeing. My wife says she likes to clean, so I'm giving her opportunity to clean every day. That's not the same thing. My wife is stressed at work, so she can come home and be less, so she'll be less stressed. That doesn't work either. Baby, I was stressed here at this house with the access to all the money. And them kids had 3. And then at one point, my oldest went to school, so then I had 2 in the house all day. And I'm just telling you, the stress doesn't stop just because you have the benefit of being able to swipe your card. And now I can say that because I lived it. Everybody else might be coming from a perspective of just hearing what he's saying and they're clickbaiting it and they're saying whatever. But I just want him to understand, and most men to understand. Just because you give your wife access, that's a beautiful thing, and it should be that way to have access. But to think that her access would deviate the fact that she still would be less stressed being at home, baby, this is a full-time job. And this is a lot to it because as mothers, we have to then think of all the things. So now she's not doing the things she was at work doing and having all these things and meetings and being with the other adults. I just want him to think for a couple seconds. And any man who thinks like that to think for a couple seconds. Having access is beautiful. Having access, but also thinking that that's going to alleviate stress is not it. Her wanting to clean and feeling as it's soothing is one thing, but that doesn't negate the fact that then at some point, she is now doing this as a constant thing and it doesn't no longer becomes that. So that's just my 5 seconds coming from a former stay-at-home mom.
Thank you for watching today's video. What is your opinion on this TikToker asking his wife to quit her job even though she doesn't want to?